In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all, and with your spirit. In the waters of baptism, Michael died with Christ, rose into new glory. May he now share this eternal glory. Just the book you're looking for. She's on the sides.
Okay, you got to tell me your names.
I'm Ralph.
Ralph?
I'm Don.
Don. Hi, Don.
I'm Tom.
Tom.
I'm Pete.
Pete. And I got to get Pete's pants.
And so she like brake checked and robbed him, and he like didn't move.
Okay, thank you every single one of you for coming. Our family is just so blessed to have such beautiful people in our lives. This is meant to be kind of the essence of Michael Cooley. He loved Mexican food, he loves people conversing, he loves thought-provoking discussions, so don't hold back. We have a bar, it has everything. You know, salad, tortillas, meats, etc. There's drinks and waters and sodas, and so you're to pretend you're in your own house. Have a really good time. And we have a wonderful musician, Aaron, who is going to do Michael's thing, which is to just have music in the background because it makes you feel good. So.
It's very observant. Thank you.
Later, after everyone has had a moment, I'm going to put this microphone down, and as you think of maybe something, not a 20-minute spiel, but maybe just a moment that's fun or funny or serious or changed your life or anything you want to say, it'll bless us all. Because we all hold just a moment or more of Michael. So thank you from our family.
Home of the biggest.
What? You don't make martinis on the way to a funeral? Beautiful.
Father,
Sorry. There's hors d'oeuvres now, and then I think dinner will come out later, but the stuff is
So in lieu of a prayer, we're going to have Michael's friend Chris Berry, who was a roommate of Michael's in Seattle, play a little live music, which always makes our soul soar. Soar like an eagle.
You, Michael Cooley, I miss you a lot.
I want to put you on the spot.
Okay. Michael, we miss you. It's been a couple of years since we retired from it, but we had a good time while we were there, sitting in those chairs for like 24 hours. That's how we got through, having a good time. We'll miss you. Love you. Take care.
You get some good
Everyone knows that Michael's wit was out of this world. He just had such insider views to human interaction, and he could find it all funny. It was very hard to insult him. He found it all funny. Whereas when somebody insults me, I hurt and I start planning revenge. I don't carry it out.
Yeah, right.
But he would find it funny and let it roll off his back.
You know, the Italian, we were from Italy here. So I went back to the bank. I said, what do you mean I can't take, my mom needs money. She can't come here. I can drive, she can't. I said, can't, nope, sorry, it says Rucha.
While you're sleeping,
We have an automatic feeder now. We have an automatic.
well, my roommate had to like lock him out of her room. She's like, I'm not dealing with that. I am so sorry. Yeah.
You're not there to wake up. Makes justice. Just need everyone to do it.
We're all gonna have a nice time together.
He was very quiet. He wasn't shy, but you know,
He wasn't aggressively
aggressively friendly. I mean, I got to know him because I used to be a trainer, and I would always do the night classes, right?
Yes.
And that's how I got to meet like our night crew. Because I worked during the day, but I did overtime, and they would schedule me for the nighttime classes. And like Michael was one of my biggest fans. And just charming and gentleman, just fell in love.
Well, also, he's not the only animals, but he runs the house. He's the alpha. My dog is terrified of him. This mom is like a hound dog, you know? And she'll be like, I'm like, why aren't you going? But yes. If a tiger.
I told Patty, I said, I gave your brother a bilingual lesson. Because he heard me I would say ciao bello. Yes. So he heard me say to somebody else, ciao bello. As I passed by, I just go, ciao bello. So he looks at me and he goes, ciao bello. I go, whoa. He says, you, as a male, are bello. I'm not a male. So you need to say bello. So he corrected himself with a big smile, luckily. He didn't hit me over the head. He wasn't that kind anyway. But it was cute. He rephrased it. He goes, oh, thank you. Ciao, Bella, as I walked away.
He called it all social interactions he described as the cocktail party. Everyone's always paying attention to what's being said, and more importantly, what's not being said.
That's genius. Okay.
We're gonna have soup, we're gonna have salad, they're gonna ask you if you'd like to have chicken, salmon, or steak. We'll have dinner together, and then some people will say a few words. And our family, each one of us, has been tasked with also randomly speaking to you. And
Okay, so.
Thank you for sharing.
So I'm going to do one of my, I wouldn't be so self-indulgent, but I'm going to do one of my songs, but I wrote this song in the house where Mike and I lived in Seattle. And it's a kind of a seeking God kind of song, which we were kind of all into. You're so big, and I'm so small. All through the world, you see it all. And you must have a plan for what you want me to be. What's inside? What do you see? These morning cars won't know. These faces, they won't know who I am, who am I and you.
sunflower, it won't know who I am. Oh my, you. Let me be your heart's desire. Spin me around, then throw me in the fire. Won't you throw away what you can use? What isn't yours, I want to lose. Then someone they might see, some dying flame might see who you are in me. Then someone they might know, some dying flame might know who you are in me.
But I think it'll give us all a sense of the depth of Michael's friendship, his gentle nature, and his enjoyment of coming together for coffee or a meal or a conversation. And so it's going to be a really relaxed time, but I just want to make sure that you guys are all comfortable. I think that I'm going to hand this off to Sherry. Chris will play a little tune. Sherry's going to take a breath.
You're up,
And then
girlfriend.
she's going to kind of bless us with our time together. And then we're going to eat, drink, and be merry. And then Chris will close us up at the very end. But we do want you to feel comfortable to tell us whatever he wants you to staple or whatever you want to tell us. Okay? All right, folks. Thank you.
Wow. I love it that this is such an intimate group. And this is so Michael. You know, we could have opened this room to 100 people, but this is Michael. He had always an intimate connection with each and every person that he ever met. So I'm going to try to get through this. I wrote it only because I'm not sure how far I'll make it. But if this was Michael standing here, trying to speak for me on my behalf, he wouldn't need this. That's the strength of that man. So forgive me, Michael.
Of course, Sherry.
Anyone that knows me really well knows I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I'm going to adjust here. Well, I wrote good afternoon, but I think it's maybe good evening and happy Sunday. My name's Sherry, for those of you that don't know me. And I'd like to begin by thanking Patty for flying in from California with her family and some friends for this very special occasion and the celebration. Thankfully, Michael did make it home to California, even though he loved Chicago and all the people that he interacted with here. I first met Michael in 2009 when I transferred from United Airlines office in Honolulu to Chicago. That's what Michael said. Thank you. Right on cue. Michael quickly captured my attention by sharing his love of adopting cats. Before I got up here, Lucy, I wanted to say, oh my God, what would Gatsby do? We used to say, what would Jesus do, right? There's this joke among us, you can ask me later, but what would Gatsby do? So,
What would he do?
he would not care and just go on. So, anyway, Michael quickly captured my attention by sharing his love of adopting cats. I was amused by their chosen names. Gatsby, of course, being one. Scotty, as in F. Scott Fitzgerald. Maddie, like the fine shops and art gallery on Madison Avenue. And last but not least, Stevie, as in the Saint Stephen, who was a deacon in a church in Jerusalem, known to anger members by his teachings. Although a loving cat, Stevie will greet you with a harmless hiss. Michael laughed each time I would refer to him as Saint Stephen. I have 2 black cats myself, so a third was an interesting mix in my house, and we're still hissing. I drove to work. Michael rode his bike. Everyone in the office knew it because he rode that bike year-round. When temperatures dipped in the winter, I would adopt the temporary role of Michael's work wife and playfully start nagging him about accepting a ride home for me when it was below 0. He would always gracefully accept, never ask, just gracefully accept, and it was a guaranteed pleasurable exchange that left both of us laughing at the end of the day. In 2011, my heart was shattered after receiving the news of the sudden and unexpected death of my younger sibling. Michael understood the impact. The special bond that he held with his sister Patty mirrored the bond that I held with my younger brother. Michael eloquently stepped into his shoes, offering spiritual guidance, crazy cat stories, banter over politics, religion, movies, art, humanitarian efforts, books, and so much more. I'm a floater. He's a sinker. Check out his Facebook page. He supported certain politicians. I did not. Whether it was a debate over coffee and Stan's Donuts, or laughter over the love of life experiences, Michael and I have become the best of friends in the last 15 years. Fast forward to October 27th of 2023. Michael texted me. Apparently, I have terminal cancer. He then humorously enlisted me as caretaker for the cats. I understood his request completely. completely, and I accepted without hesitation. In 2 short months, Michael taught me more about life than ever before. On December 18th, Patty and Michael flew home to California after much ado. And they passed 9 days later. When Patty called me to inform me of Michael's departure, I grabbed my helmet, jumped on my bike. Not something I did every day, but I did it. And I rode into the forest preserve that was very conveniently located between our 2 residences. That's all that separated us. And quite often in the fall, we would meet there and just go for a stroll. With each push of the pedal, I began to cry. And then I just stopped, got off my bike, and fell to my knees and screamed, "Why? Why?" I asked God, how could someone so faithful be robbed of life this early and so quickly? As I stand here today, I will tell you that I have never been so honored to have been asked by Michael to hold his hand and pray with him in his last 2 months of his life. The great Virginia Woolf, one of my most favorite authors, and an important 20th century author and pioneer in the use of the stream of consciousness, once said, "Some people go to priests, others go to poetry. I to my friends." Michael was that friend. Although my heart is still heavy, I will read from the Book of Wisdom something that Patty graciously shared with me. It's helped. So thank you for asking me to read this. "The just man, though he die early, shall be at rest. For the age that is honorable comes not with the passing of time, nor can it be measured in terms of years. Rather, understanding is only crowned of men, in an unsullied life, the attainment of old age. He who pleased God was loved." Michael did that well. "He who lived among sinners was transported, snatched away, lest wickedness pervert his mind or deceit beguile his soul. For the witchery of paltry things obscures what is right, and the whirl of desire transforms the innocent mind. Having become perfect in a short while, he reached the fullness of a long career, for his soul was pleasing to the Lord. Therefore he sped him out of the midst of wickedness. But for the people, they saw and did not understand, like me, nor did they take this into account." The word of the Lord.
Hopefully you will laugh the whole time.
Has decided to support me, and if I can't make it, still hear it.
It's a good sibling.
I met Michael through a church group, and several of the members are here tonight. Over the decade and a half that my life has been blessed by Mike's presence, I've learned some things about him, and I've been taught many very important things about me. Admittedly, being boys, we didn't always go into great detail about things, often expressing ourselves more comfortably in general with that comfort. I prayed at his bedside even while he slept or appeared to sleep. I learned that he had often just closed his eyes because he would immediately respond to the nurses who came into the room. One of my most cherished moments from that praying was when I saw his lips moving as he prayed silently with me. Even as he became less and less communicative, we continued to talk. I told him how edifying it is to share these days with him. He let me see him acquiesce to the Lord's demanding will for him, to see a faithfulness that brokered no room for despondence or despair. He was going to his judgment with the hope of a true child of God. We talked about how cool it was that he would soon get to see God in person. A splendid delight for a man of faith, a frightful future for a man whose faith is weak. So again, I was blessed with another of Mike's attempts to prod me to become the man the Lord desires me to be more like Mike. Another blessing was how, when I would lay my arm on his bed to better hold his hand while I prayed with him, he would gently press his left leg against me, a variant hug I will never forget. The weekend before his trip home, several friends gathered at his bed and prayed for divine mercy to be draped over him. And his priest came to anoint him, to strengthen him with graces, to continue his battle with the hope of the Holy Spirit. The peace and love in that room was extraordinary. It was a beautiful experience. One of the last things we talked about was his trip home. I noted that on the 18th, the Christmas was going to be 1 week away, and he would be able to see his family and many friends once he got home, that he would be surrounded by abundant love and peace. One more sign of his deep love for his family and his willingness to attend to their needs and desires would soon become apparent. Knowing his precarious situation, I asked that he stay long enough to celebrate Christmas with his mother, and he did. And it's awesome to see both losing his favorite niece, his favorite nephew with us today. God bless you guys.
Oh, Terry, thank you so much. If it's black down here, you tell me.
Your mascara's going south. There's one other man. He wants us right now.
80 hours, 60 vacation hours.
So now, sometimes you get the website. It's crazy. On Spotify, just look my name up. My last name is E-E-H-R-E. I'll give you the information and then you can find it.
My brain has too many things to do. Jacob, you're super.
Did you have your kids? Or was it a joint?
A lovely time.
But they're so expensive.
I think that we have
$100,000
I would have loved it in 1980s.
from United.
Ooh, yeah.
We would like to do a toast. And so I think Tanya's going to come up. We're going to give her a moment.
Another one.
And we'll do a little toast. I think that we can get the Blossom Cafe to accommodate us if we do just a minute to have the glasses.
And then we do have dessert, and then Chris will play a song. And we know that it accidentally, if you're having fun, time flies. So we won't keep you too long, but we would like to give her a chance to say something on behalf of United. Thank you so much.
So just sharing stories, right? Because today's about remembering Michael. And I'll share a couple of things that I recall. At United, we live like a family. And today, all of you from United that have come out here demonstrate that. We've lived lives together. When I think, you know, my daughter's now 15, you guys all saw me pregnant. And we've shared good times, bad times, but we always come together as a united family that we are. In these types of situations, I always think that sometimes death, as tragic as it is, it's also an opportunity for us to remember the person and how special they are, and it also brings us together. Some of you I have not seen for years, but seeing you just rekindles that love, right, that we have for each other and how special our journey has been. My journey with Michael is very special. I'll tell you what I remember, other than him driving down the road on his bike, which always scared me to death, and I'm like, oh God, please make it. And when I would see him come in the office, I'm like, oh my God, I know it's important to service the customers, but come on, dude, it's snowing out there, it's snowing. But that just showed his passion not only for the customers and for doing a good job, but also for his United family. I had many conversations with him, and what I recall most about him is how he would advocate. He was a very, very strong advocate for our employees. I'm part of the management team, and we don't always get it right. But you know what, we try. And when we didn't get it right, he would tell us we didn't get it right. He was not afraid to let us know that we didn't get it right, but he always did it with a lot of tact. He always did it with the benefit of that other person in mind. And whether it was employees or sometimes customers, he did not agree with our policies sometimes. And let me tell you, our policies are meant for people, and we valued his feedback when he would give it to us, and we would escalate it. He was really a treasure. He had a very calm nature. Let me tell you, it touched me when I saw his shirt, because I could see him walking up the steps in the office, coming in for his shift with his shirt. And it's just such a visual for me. So as we say today, you know, we're in the airline industry, and today it's his last flight. You know, he's spreading his wings and giving us a final United goodbye. But we will always have him in our hearts and remember her dearly. So thank you for allowing us this opportunity to all of his family and his friends to get to know him better, get to know things that we didn't know about him, and to get to know all of you and share the love. And I hope you felt how much we loved him. So thank you very much.
So I didn't know he was sick, and I leave a message for Mike. I haven't heard from you. Have you and your sister for Thanksgiving? Did you get the presidential suite on Wacker Drive? Give me a call. What's going on? Oh, you should be able to move to Seattle now. You could probably work at home. If not, please call the union and see if they opened up. And then you were so gracious to call me, and I had no clue. And I always thought about him. I would get texts from his cat, and then I'd get the little text, oh, my cat's texting you. And anyway, so it was, for me, very tragic, because I just, Miss Van Pelt that was here, he was just really elegant and so smart, and he would lead the questions. What are you hearing? Or it wasn't a direct question to you, it was a lead-in. And you knew he knew something, but I didn't know. So you then would get, these conversations with him. But he was just so smart and classy, and we could set our watches to him. And I think, Tanya, we were talking about that. I said, somebody check his ears the next day, because it was like 20 below zero. Was he okay with the hat? And then Jason, too, he would be our other wingman we'd have to check on. And they probably both had the best cardiovascular. But it really was a privilege, an honor. I really wanted to get him home to Seattle, and thank you for wearing the plaid, because I feel I was in Seattle for 12 years, and I missed the plaid. And it was just something like Celtic or Scottish, and it wasn't grunge in the name. Yeah. And he was just really just a fabulous, elegant man. That's all I just, and I call him now, Dick Clark. He was our Dick Clark. He just never, his hair, and my hair with the calyx, and he would just come in, even on the bike, like everything was perfect. So, just thank you, and thank you for calling me back. And that had to be so difficult, and I'm sorry I didn't know, but we did keep him in prayer once we found out. And I'm sorry for your loss.
Coming up for the United People. Michael said, I could do the call stuff at home, but I hate it because I miss the camaraderie of going in and seeing people as I'm walking to my desk, walking away from it as well. That makes it worthwhile, just doing the calls now.
So Michael Cooley was born to two parents that were only children, and we believe that caused this circus, which was our home. They brought the entire world into our household, and it did not matter who that was. We moved into our home, and we thought it was really odd. All of these people, like from the neighborhood, were in our front yard. And we thought, wow, how did they know? And then somebody knocked on your door. Just remember, I'm entertaining you while you're waiting for a toast. And there was a knock on the door. And we thought, hello. And they said, you have a monkey on your roof. And so we went outside and met all the neighbors and stood on our front lawn and looked up at our roof. A monkey on our roof. And so I think my mother told Michael to go get a banana. So he did, and he threw it up on the roof. So my brother learned at an early age how to manage all of the adults around us. And so if they told me whatever it was, and I would argue with them, I would end up arguing and doing it. And my brother would say, oh, yes, yes, and he never did it. And then he's my older brother, and he cared very much for me. And he said, Pat, he said, really, just yes them to death and do what you please. He told me if you ever, fell out of the bed and broke your arm, if you ever had to go to the hospital, always change your underwear and brush your teeth. Let's see. He had a great joke. It may be the best joke I ever heard in my life. And he said, Confucius said, he who go to bed with cracker have crummy sleep. I should probably end it on a good note. I might get a reputation. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Each one of you really matters in Michael's life and in this moment here. And it's been very uplifting and sad.
I'm Michael's favorite niece. My mom stole my joke at the beginning, so I lost my thunder, but I just want you to know that regardless of what your brother tells you, where I'm the only niece, it doesn't matter, I earned that. We appreciate hearing all of the stories, all of the love for our uncle. I really thought that he didn't really have a lot of friends out here, and so it was very comforting knowing that there's a big group of people that were like his family that he had out here. Like, I had no idea. I'm like, he's just out there, going to work every day. Like, I don't know how he entertains himself. And then here he has like this whole room of people, that loved him and enjoyed him and all that. We butted heads a lot, but I also loved him very much. And yeah, it's just, very nice to see everybody come out here in support and hearing all the stories that we have not heard about somebody that we know very well.
Thank you. I'm Jacob. I'm the nephew.
Favorite nephew?
I can't say favorite because you never know.
Competition.
You're appreciated.
I loved hearing everybody's stories. I hate crying, so I didn't like them. But they were great stories, nonetheless. I didn't want to talk about any one memory in general, but a ton of fond memories that I had. That's fine. Every holiday, birthdays, traveling, he's always there. He never pushed his morals onto you. You were an individual yourself. You chose. He accepted that. That was always nice. He was always inviting, very knowledgeable. Could hold a conversation with any group, any person. Didn't matter when or where. So I always, looked up to him in that manner. He's loved, and I can see it by just the people in this room, and this isn't even close to everybody. So, thank you guys for being here.
So I don't know if you heard me tell Jacob that I was going to take this because I have a funny story to tell. He's going to hate this. All right, so there was this one time that our older brother, Jacob, and I, we went to the movies with my uncle. And everybody knows that my uncle was a sharp-dressed man, right? And so he was wearing a leather jacket. Apparently, this other guy didn't know that the leather jacket, thing was like my uncle's, right? And so there happened to be somebody else with a leather jacket as we were going to the movie theater. And my older brother and I were like, this is Uncle Michael, we're walking with him. And Jacob was like, no, this other leather jacket man is Uncle Michael. And went and tried to hold this other man's hand. And I don't know about you guys, but in any time, usually when it's a 2 against 1 situation, the 2 against 1 is right. So it's a fond memory. And I'm sure Jacob probably would like not to remember that, but
Sharon is
I
the
also
lead
grew
the
up
toast.
as a wild child, so I was doing my own thing at the time and didn't pay attention to where everybody went, and I saw a leather jacket and I ran for that leather jacket, and it was not it.
I think Tanya's going to lead the toast.
oh, okay, so we have a few other people that are going to make a little bit of a noise for my uncle. So we're going to pass that to them, and then we're going to have a toast. Everybody should have gotten champagne or some type of beverage.
Okay, Lucy, John.
Well, do we have other people that want to speak before we make a toast? Oh, Ralph. Of course, to a fellow lad.
My name is Ralph, and I'm one of the California Days contingencies here with Ken and Craig. I first met Mike back in 1992 at a conference in California. He was part of a men's Christian discipleship program. And I had applied to go to that program that particular year, was turned down. And so, as it were, we're at this conference in San Diego, and it's the first morning of the conference, and we're lining up for breakfast, and there's this fellow in front of me wearing this t-shirt about this world tour of this place called New Hope. And it's listing all these towns. And it turns out there were guys in front of me and in back of me. These were the very guys in that program I had applied to and was turned down. And the guy in front of me, it was Mike. And we just got to talking, and he just took me in and just introduced me to all the guys, and he just kind of, there we go. The following year, that following Memorial Day weekend, I decided to go visit the program. As the Lord would have it, I was to be in his house where he was living. The day before, he rolled out of bed and fell on the floor and hurt his wrist. Hadn't been to the doctor yet, but he was like, no, it was hurting. To this day, he claims he was pushed by his roommate. And if you've seen that room, that thing was way up there. No wonder he didn't have to break anything else. So during my visit there, I'm a Mr. Fix-It guy. I had a couple of nice bandanas, so I made a little sling for him to wear for the rest of the time we were there. But when I finally entered the program the next year, the very first day or so we were there, we all went out to this place in San Rafael called the Royal Ground, which is still there. Only it's moved down a few blocks, down a block. But they were making this thing called a latte. I'd never seen it before. It looked so good. And I thought, I'll have one of those. And thanks to Mike, it was his idea. And it was coffee. I blame him for the fact that I can now never start my day off without these two big things of coffee. And the rest of our time together, Mike and I will always be the ones who drive our brothers out to the airport to take the planes and things like that. While we're there, we always stop off at the local coffee shop. Each of us get a double espresso with a twist. And we sit there and just talk forever about everything and anything. And I miss those so much. We had a little skit one day. As you all remember Saturday Night Live, the coffee talk with Linda Richmond. We did a takeoff on that with me as the Linda Richmond personality, but not in drag, thank you. It was called Christianity, Coffee, and Controversy. And to this day, every time Mike and I talk about coffee, we always get together for Christianity, Coffee, and Controversy. The last time I saw Mike was a year ago, here. I was visiting my sister, who lives over in Menlo Park. And there's a long story behind that, but to make a long story short, until a year ago last June, I didn't know she existed. So it was a very special time, and Mike got to share part of that with me. And I swear he only owns 2 plaid shirts, one in blue, one in gray, because I have a picture of that, and I just sent it to you, Patty. The 2 of us together. He only owns 2 shirts, that's it. And and the one time I visited him, and he was still living over here at the apartments. When he picked me up, he was wearing that shirt.
It's a good shirt.
God, I know, right? He knows quality. He knows quality. But seriously, he was been a very, very dear friend. We were able to talk about anything. Over the years, even though there may have been months between time, the first time I heard that voice, time melted away. He was a wonderful brother. Patty, thank you for sharing it with us.
So as we come to a close, we want to remember Mike for bringing us together. That was really his objective in life, when you really think about it. You know, whether it was as a friend, spiritually, love of coffee, that's what he meant. He wanted us to be. He would be so happy to be here with us today. So let's raise our glass and say, thank you, Mike, for all you've done for us and for bringing us together.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Cheers. Clink, clink, clink.
No, don't close your mouth. There. And I'm not even drunk. Okay, thank you, Karen. So much, Barbara. Ralph, that was choice. That was amazing. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers. Oh, I think I'll toast you twice. Heck yeah. I got a toast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Terry. Awesome.
Thank you.
I'll be right back with yours.
I just want to say, I'll give you my story, the story that I was going to share.
Let's hear it.
All right, it's short. Well, I have a habit of being able to make things long that really just can be short. But Michael had, as Patty said, a very fat address book. And I don't have that big of an address book, but I get busy sometimes. a lot, and my mom used to be really mad at me all the time for telling, you're always so busy, and so Patty, I was supposed to go to an event with Patty. There's 4 of us that used to work together for almost 40 years. I mean, we didn't work, we met 40 years ago at the company, and then we didn't stay at that company. We all went our separate ways. So we're called the Fab Four, and we, as we reunited. And I was supposed to go to a Fab Four event, and Michael was out visiting Patty. And I told Patty that I was too busy, and because I was just stressed. And I didn't tell her that, I just told her I can't do it. I'm gonna have to not be able to go. And Patty said to me, it's important to have different interactions with your very good friends. And I felt so chastised. And I thought I couldn't even respond. I respond to everything, and that I had no words for it. It's like I was stressed as it was, and now she's making me
That's
feel
what best friends do.
right, but I couldn't change my mind. I in my gut, I just couldn't get there. And about 10 or 15 minutes later, Patty texts me and she said, Michael says he cancels all the time. God bless Michael. I think I can finish with that, right? God bless Michael.
Yay.
I need his final cancellation.
He's listening and seeing all of this. So thank you, Michael.
Like a rock had fallen in it. So a brick had fallen and it had tumbled towards his car, and I stopped and just in front of his car, and it made a little dent, but it wasn't.
It wasn't a dent, it was a crack.
Okay, but it wasn't anything big, and that's not that wasn't my fault, So when I had told him, he was like, you don't seem like.
They woke me up first of all.
Okay.
To tell me.
He was probably angry.
I was fucking grumpy in the morning because somebody woke me up and said, hey, Lucy was driving your car and she hit a brick and it cracked her bumper. So I went out and I looked at it and I said, okay, it's not that bad of a crack. But me, being a hothead, pissed off, my mom's got a brick path going up the side of her house. So I said, what size brick was it?
It's not a huge story. You're smiling right now. Wait until he tells you.
I said,
I can't wait
was it a full-size brick? Was it a half a brick? A sliver of a brick? She's like, it was maybe a third of a brick. And I said, perfect. So I grabbed a third of a brick, cut out of the path, and I threw it into the back of her truck. Dented
the whole back of my truck.
That's rough. That's rough.
And my friend was at my house, and I was like, fuck you, just so angry.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because I'm first off, I was driving your car. I was doing mom a favor by taking it out so that she doesn't have multiple vehicles that she has to drive. You throw a brick at my car and it dents the whole back of my car, and then he's just pissed about it, and I'm like, alright, I was like, whatever, dude. And then eventually I
You should have told that story up there.
Well, no, it doesn't have anything about Michael, yeah. But the thing is after that, I was I had because where he had thrown it, technically, he was yeah, I totally thought about it, where I threw it, you'd be able to
It was above the wheel well, so she
push
wouldn't
it
be able
out.
to get it fucking
You'd be
out.
able to push it out, I'm okay. I'm that's still you threw a fucking brick on my car. But
That was a great
You
smile.
never heard that story, right?
No, I did not.
My brother.
That was awesome.
Sur mon lit, lui comment on chanteur pas bien.